Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
You know, we were putting together a rundown a couple minutes ago here, Dallas, and Jayhay's not here yet. Where is he traveling to? What's his deal?
Benvenido a Miami.
Oh,
He
yeah,
is
right,
headed
right,
to
right,
the
yeah.
305.
Mhm.
Yep, that's Mr. Worldwide. Jayhay, Pitbull, and Tim Kirchin.
Yeah.
Mr. Worldwide.
I can't picture Jayhay in Miami. Like, what does one Justin Havens do in Miami?
Dude, I can't picture Jayhay outside of like a dimly lit cabin just by candlelight. He's wearing a flannel and he's like that's just the scene that I constantly have in my head when I think of Jayhay. Like his haircut, the scruff, like he's not meant to be out in like casual settings like that. You know what I mean? Like Miami, or I guess he's meant for the casual setting. Miami, like buddy, people are getting ready to go to dinner at 12:30 at night in Miami. Like that's just not Jayhay's scene.
No, I've done Miami a couple times, and I think I've had my fill for as far as Miami goes.
Miami is like New York. Like if you've never been and you don't understand what it has to offer, and you're there to like roll up the sleeves and fucking get it in, you should plan on not going to bed until like 9-10 a.m. in the next morning, because you're gonna get to the club at about 2:30. And that's when shit's just going to start to pop off. Going to start to pop off. Miami, 5 a.m. You're watching the sun come up, doing all kind of things you never thought you'd be doing.
I'm at the age now where that sounds miserable. Like there's nothing I want to do less than be out until 5 a.m.
Dude, trust me. Like we just rolled into Cleveland, and we got a day off today, and we stay directly across from a casino. And I couldn't have been more excited to get up to my room and just shut the fucking windows and lay down with an off day. That's just not. No, 3 years ago, I'd have been like, buddy, I'll see you at fucking 5 a.m. We're going to the fucking craps table. It's going down. Not now. No. Especially after a day game.
Yeah. A couple girl dads like us, Dallas. There's just nothing I'd rather do than stay home, pour a glass of vodka with a splash of ginger ale, and park my ass on the couch.
I've been ordering my beverages a new way.
Such a proceed.
I'm gonna go with a Topo and Tito's with just a whisper of cran.
Okay, a whisper. Just a whisper.
Just a whisper.
Just
a whisper of cran. Whisper of cran. And the first time I ordered it, we were in Texas at Las Colinas at the resort, and the bartenders there, they've known us forever. So I rolled in, and he already had a cocktail made for me, and I was like, "We're doing it different this time. We're doing it different." And he was like, "Oh," and I said, "Come here. This time I just want a Tito's and Topo with a whisper of cran." And he said, and he leaned in. And he said, "My friend, say no more." And he opened the fucking cranberry above my glass and took the lid and just went, just dropped the fucking shit that's on the lid in the drink. He was like, "Is that enough?"
That's a
or
whisper.
He said, was that too loud? And I said,
"Is that too loud?"
I said, no, that was perfect.
Yeah.
So Topo's and Tito with a whisper of cran.
Yeah, I'll take out like a glass, Jayhay, I'll fill it with ice about 90%, and then you pour the Tito's until the ice starts to float.
Sure.
And then and then you just top it off with some ginger.
Going.
It's about 10%, 90% vodka, 10% ginger, and you're good to go.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. That sounds like a great time.
Yeah. Yeah. Jake, when you're not drinking Blue Moon, what's your drink of choice?
I might have to go with anything with a whisper of cran from now on, because I feel like that just makes you sound like the absolute man.
Yeah.
It felt great too. It felt like I legit felt like as soon as I said that, there was like a fucking ray of light behind me. Like, this guy just fucking nailed it. I felt great about it.
He's got the secret sauce. Today's a very exciting day for me in particular. I'm very excited for, he's been on the podcast before, but this is someone that I've been following for quite some time. I've told the story a million times. I'll tell it again. I think it was during COVID when there was no college baseball happening. And I think it was Prospect Dugout was the Instagram account. And they've got like amateur players. Like I'll always, like, if you go on my Instagram, I mean, you can't, like, bookmarks are not public, but if I look at my bookmarks, like I'll like 90% of my bookmarks are players, amateur players, where I'm like, I want to come back to this in 6 years and see if I was right. Jack Leiter is the first one where I'm like, okay, like this guy got to the big leagues and he got there quick. When I saw the video, had no idea that he was Al Leiter's kid, had no idea that he was Jack Leiter, Vanderbilt commit. Just watched the video, saw it was different, and I was like, this guy, he's got the thing. I understand, if you're a Texas Rangers fan, that the results at the minor league level have not been what you probably expected them to be if you did watch Jack Leiter pitch in Vanderbilt.
Not eye-popping.
No, nothing eye-popping. But in the summer of 2021, he was taken with, I believe, the second overall pick by the Texas Rangers, because I was at Coley's wedding, and I made a deal with his wife. I was like, I won't, during the ceremony, I will not watch the game. I'll take my earbud out. I won't be listening to it. I'll be locked in on the ceremony. But after that, it is MLB draft night, and I am all in. The Red Sox have the number 4 pick, and Jack Leiter is out there, and I think we could end up with him. Surprisingly enough, he goes number 2 to the Texas Rangers. A couple of years later, Kumar Rocker, who we will talk about, also a product of Vanderbilt, teammate of Jack Leiter. He gets drafted by the Mets in that draft, I believe at 10. There's some injury concerns, doesn't sign, pitches in, like, I think, like the Atlantic
Pioneer League, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And then comes back around, gets drafted again to rejoin Jack Leiter in the Texas Rangers organization, where he is. He's at single A.
Yeah, high A. Haven't seen him work this year. His numbers last year: 3.86 ERA over 6 starts, 28 innings, 42 punch outs, just 7 walks for Kumar Rocker. So dominant while he was out there. And like you said, we started rolling, so I wasn't able to kind of finish up just checking in on him. But this is where the numbers are at from last year.
Yeah, I'm excited for his future. I still think that he has a bright future in professional baseball, but it is Jack Leiter who reaches the big leagues first. He will get the ball. If you're listening, it may have already happened. We're recording at about 11 a.m. Eastern, but the Texas Rangers will be playing the Detroit Tigers today in Detroit. The game will be on MLB Network. 1:10 first pitch versus Kenta Maeda. First big league start for Jack Leiter. Whatever the results are, I don't think I'm going to sit here and hype him up and be like, we're not going to talk about Jack Leiter's debut the same way that we're going to suck off Paul Skeens once he finally gets up here. It's a different vibe because
very different. One is I don't want to call Paul Skeens like considered like savior status, but that is you're looking towards a guy like Paul Skeens to sort of benchmark part of the big turnaround for your organization. Like the arrival of Paul Skeens means you're starting to head in the right direction. You've got some guys that you can lean on, other guys in the rotation we've talked a lot about. So Jack Leiter represents a very different, just a very different piece to his puzzle than Paul Skeens represents.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that he got called up before he should have?
Leiter?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think it is probably a conversation about what they have in their rotation right now, what their bullpen looks like, and is there a way that we can figure out how to mix Jack Leiter in and where he's going to make an impact. So if he's able to come up and start and make an impact, does that allow Boshi to do a little shuffling? I don't know. Is it a matter of him coming up and, oh man, if it doesn't work out, you know what? We're okay with putting him in the bullpen. I don't think that would be the case, because I got to believe that your projection for this dude is to be a starter for a long time in your rotation, and bringing him up in a situation where he might find himself in the bullpen sooner rather than later. I don't know how much that would benefit him. I believe something like that could potentially stunt his growth, where you're buying into him making the progress as a starter. You're letting him fail and go through the rigors of what it takes to learn how to be a starter at the professional level. And then you get him to the big leagues and it doesn't work out over a couple starts. And now you've scrapped that and he's in the bullpen. So I don't think that would be the case. So I'm curious to see how that continues to pan out. Like, is this a matter of trying to identify somebody that they can, like, is Michael Lorenzen on the way back? Is this somebody that they feel like they're going to stick in the bullpen? Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of questions about where Leiter fits in, all things considered, health-wise.
So just taking a quick glance here, last year at AAA had an ERA over 8, but that was 3 1/3 innings. The bulk of his season was spent in AA last year. That was 81 2/3 innings, but his ERA was just a tick over 5.
Yeah.
So that's where you start to look at it as, this guy is uber talented. I mean, the fastball is ridiculous. Was a big time strikeout pitcher at Vanderbilt. 2021, his what was it, his sophomore season? He was, so because of like COVID and everything, he was 21 years old. It was his second year at Vanderbilt. He threw 110 innings, punched out 179 batters. So that's a 14.6 strikeouts per 9. And that was his draft year. Then last year, we just went into the numbers between AAA and AA, but again, it was 3 1/3 innings at AAA. This year at AAA, again, small sample, but 14 1/3 innings, Dallas.
The command
25
is so much
strikeouts.
Better.
25 strikeouts.
But it's not the strikeouts, Sharon.
15.7 strikeouts per 9.
But it's not the strikeouts. That's don't
3 walks.
There you go. There you go.
A whip under 1. Low traffic.
0.98. So
low traffic.
That when we're talking about what's that next level for a guy to get to the big leagues, I think for Jack Leiter, you can't overlook the command aspect of what he hadn't been doing and what he's now doing. In my opinion, that is what is the eye popper when it comes to the numbers for Jack Leiter right now in this small sample size. We want him around the plate more. We want him forcing the action more. We want him competing in the zone more. Yeah. Done, and done. Here come the punch outs. Here come the lack of free passes, which all equates to him attacking hitters and attacking the zone. Yeah. So if you were looking for a reason to get Jack Leiter to the big leagues sooner rather than later, and you needed a short burst and that's all you gave a damn about, fantastic. Here it is. And I would love for this to be the case where Jack Leiter's like, you know what? I'm not saying that I figured it out in AAA, but it feels like the things that I was able to do and adjust have helped me make these adjustments sooner rather than later in my outings or in between my start days. And so now I think I'm prepared to get to the big leagues, take my lumps, but also learn at this level. So I hope it's a matter of him being able to have an opportunity to stick in this rotation and not just be something that's born out of necessity for the Texas Rangers, but really more so of a deserving nod for Jack Leiter.
Also, it should be noted that control, it's not like he fell off. Like, control was an issue for him in college, too. If you look at the walks per 9 in college, 2020, that was only 15 2/3, but a 4.6 walks per 9, 3.7 in that dominant year of 21. And then his first year of pro ball in AA, 5.4. And then collectively last year between AAA and AA, it was 5.2. It's 1.9 this year.
So there's going to be a few things to look at as if you're listening to this, something to look at, or if you're going to chart the game at home. And I don't know why you would do that unless you're a loser like me. First pitch strikes, maybe keep track of the 1-1 counts. I don't know that those are as a big deal for me, honestly, as what he's able to do then when he gets to 2 strikes with guys. So first pitch strikes, and then can he turn the at-bats with 2 strikes into outs? Because you're trying to avoid extended at-bats. You don't want to see him get his pitch count ran up there. And then lastly, is he landing the breaking ball for strikes? Because early on, what teams will do, if you have shown an inability to land your off speed and to land your breaking balls for strikes, they'll eliminate those, and you will be out there throwing 95-mile-an-hour beach balls.
Yep.
And that is a horrible place to be, especially in your big league debut. So, I mean, and the best part about Jack going into this is the pedigree behind him. This is not going to be, I mean, it's his first big league start, but he's about as prepared for his first big league start as a guy in his situation could be, considering the conversations he's had leading up to this. His dad, Al, one of the dirtiest lefties going. I mean, he's got an uncle and a cousin in the fucking, he's got an uncle who was in the big leagues, a cousin in the big league. Like it just, nothing's going to catch him by surprise. I'm just really excited to see how he gets through the lineup the first couple times.
Another thing to note here, Dallas, the long ball, which I guess is a product of being in the zone a lot. You know, sure. if you're 14 and a third innings and you've punched out 25, you're in the zone a lot. But he's also given up 4 bombs in those 14 and a third innings and 11 hits. So
and I'd be curious to see where in the zone those homers have come from, because is he getting beat to a spot at the top of the zone, or are these just like more so middle mixer mistakes, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, I would like to think, because I don't have the charts here, that he's probably getting beat at the top of the zone. Because if he's not walking guys, it's not like he doesn't have control of the baseball. We are now joined by Miami Jayhay. Rolls in just in time. We just began, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes ago, and we obviously started with the story of the day. That is the big league debut of Jack Leiter for the Texas Rangers in Detroit.
Yes. That's not. I didn't know that was going to be the headliner. I thought we were going to do some deep dive Tanner Houck.
No, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, where it's Jack Leiter. Jack Leiter's moment right now, Jayhay. I was talking about how guys need to, for folks at home watching this, just watching the way, based on the numbers that we've kind of outlined, which are his strikeouts, 25 and 14 and a third innings. I talked about the command and the lack of walks, just 3 so far, and that being a big indicator, I believe, to their organization that, okay, we think he's ready to make this step. We think he's ready to take this step here. If you were looking for that in a short burst, they've gotten it. But yeah, and we were also talking about, Jack Leiter and what he means to his team as opposed to some other guys coming up and what they mean to their team. Jack Leiter, is this an indicator of, we need somebody to give us a shot in the arm? Is this just a matter of Bradford being down with back issues and they need someone to plug in, and we're only going to see him for a couple turns and then we'll revisit Jack Leiter in September? How are we doing this?
The thing that fascinates me about the whole Jack Leiter scenario is that, we've spent a lot of time this season talking about like the fragility of pitching, right? And even the guys at the top of their game, like they can be gone in an instant. We're without Strider, we're without Cole, and at least for now. And like Jack Leiter was the 2nd overall pick, and he wasn't the 2nd overall pick in some draft that nobody was paying attention to, right? Jack Leiter was a name that we had known, not just because of the Al Leiter relationship, but because he was a college star, right, at Vanderbilt, in the sense that, like, to the extent that college baseball players are transcending that sport and making it into the national consciousness, like Skeens and Dylan Cruz this last year were a great example of that, Skeens in particular. But Leiter and Kumar Rocker were doing that.
They were the pioneers.
They were 4 or 5 years ago or whatever it was. And like, it's awesome that Leiter is now making his debut, because you always want to see a guy who's taken 2nd overall, like, actually make the big leagues, particularly given his hype. But it's also cool because his path has not been the traditional path that you would expect from a number 2 overall pick, son of a former big leaguer, Vanderbilt star. The first 2+ seasons in the minor leagues were, I mean,
not great.
A disaster. Yeah. An ERA north of 5, like, if we're going to call it what it is. And then he comes out, and if, from my perspective, my expectations for Jack Leiter had gone to almost nothing entering this season, given that performance. And then to see him come out and show a swing and miss and strikeouts that you guys were clearly talking about that he had not shown, in his professional career to this point, I think is just fascinating. And then you look at the draft class of the guys that were picked before and after him, and it's just a perfect microcosm of how ridiculously stupid in some ways the Major League Baseball draft is, because the talent for sure, but like, and then you see like, and just how it goes. Like Rocker and Leiter were supposed to be like the dudes, and Jack Leiter is now like kind of surprisingly making his way to the big leagues, and Kumar Rocker, it doesn't seem like he's on the verge yet. So that was my reaction.
Kumar Rocker's in high A right now, Jayhay. Yeah, and I think the most I think Leiter's most recent outing is also interesting, because we were talking about whether or not he's susceptible to the long ball. Is that going to be a thing? And I mentioned, well, I'd like to take a look at some of the maps maybe and see where he's given those homers up. But I just thought about this. His last outing, Jared, 6 innings, 3 runs, 10 strikeouts, all 3 runs.
Yeah.
Solo jacks.
Yeah. There you go. And he hit a guy. The other thing too, Hubs texted me. What was it the other day when Leiter got called up, and I forgot, like, we didn't even talk about his call up news on the podcast. Today we're headlining it because today's the day he makes his debut, but Hubs knows that I fucking love Leiter, and he was like, no tweet about the call up. And I was just like, I wish that I could be as excited about it as if like Skeens got called up today, because Skeens is dominating. Like, not to say that 25 strikeouts in 14 innings isn't dominating. It is, but it's a small sample. I'm just worried about, like, is he ready? Like, I don't want him to come up to this level and get tattooed and get sent back down. Like, for what he's done so far this year, that's great. Like, the strikeout numbers are phenomenal. It's his highest strikeouts per 9.
You got to take the fucking training wheels off at some point in time, Jared.
I know,
at some
but
point in time, you got to take the training wheels off. That's why I told you. It's about Bradford. I mean, I was trying to like create a soft landing spot for Jack, but that's what it is. Bradford's down with a back. You need somebody to come up. He just had a decent outing, a decent start. You feel like if you're going to capitalize on some of the growth and the progress that he's made, now's the time. Coming off a 6-inning outing where he punched out 10.
Only 83 pitches too.
Don't know that the confidence is going to get much higher. Like, if you're waiting for him to have a better outing to build on to get him to the big leagues, I think this is the perfect intersection of performance and necessity for the Texas Rangers to get Jack Leiter to the big leagues.
Sure.
They need a spot filled in the rotation, and they've got a dude who they've invested in, who's thrown the ball well enough to garner that look.
I'm just protective of my assets. That's all.
Understandable.
Well, and the reason why that question is interesting about whether now is the time, or whether he's ready, or Jared doesn't want to see him get rocked. Like, not this all started, but his professional career started with an assignment to AA, right? Mm-hmm. So this idea that, like, are we being aggressive with this man? Like, and who knows how it would have worked out, but like, obviously the immediate promotion to AA probably didn't work out quite as everybody had hoped with his the success we talked about. So that he's getting promoted to the big leagues after like what is a relatively small sample of success in the overall scheme of things, I think is additionally fascinating for that regard. But like, he's almost 24 years old, right? Mm-hmm. So like, to the point about taking the training wheels off, this is, we were talking about Skeens and certain age groups and stuff like that, and when these guys can be called up. But like, if it's going to happen for Jack Leiter, I think the Rangers sort of need to figure it out now. And whether that's going to be in a starter role or an impact bullpen role or whatever it might be, but now is the time.
And that's exactly what
we're talking about that COVID crop. We're talking about the COVID crop. We're talking about players that lost a year to COVID. Like, whether it's minor leaguers that didn't have a season, when we're kind of in that spot now where guys are getting called up, and it's like, well, they're 24 years old. Like that's pretty old for a prospect. Some of these guys like missed the year, whether it be in college or the minor league. So I'm excited. I want him to do well. It felt quick, but maybe it's just me being careful. My guy.
Let your baby fly the coop, all right?
I'm trying, man.
Let your baby fly the coop. He's got to learn how to fucking swim. Sure, there's great whites out there lurking, but he'll learn to make the kelp forest his friend. He'll learn to find a hiding spot. They'll take care of him. He'll be all right.
Great ballpark to debut in, though. I mean, there's a lot of... I mean, if home runs are your problem, Comerica is a great place to not give up home runs. So we'll see how that goes. Unless you're Dallas Braden, I believe.
Yeah.
Did Maglio?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We're moving right along is what we're doing. We are moving right along
twice
to the
in
next
Comerica?
topic.
Did anyone else hit one, or was it just
talking about?
was it just
I think
Maglio
was
twice?
It Ohtani?
Was it
Ohtani
Maglio?
has tied
I know
Hideki
Maglio got you
Matsui
twice in the same
for
game.
the most home
Was
runs
there
hit
anyone
by
else
a
that
Japanese
give up a home run to anyone
player.
else?
You're talking about homers,
Did
right?
he do that?
So I think Ohtani's
Matsui,
a great place.
former teammate of Dallas Braden.
Former teammate, yes,
Former teammate
Matsui.
of Dallas Braden, who gave up 2 home runs to Maglio Ordonez in Comerica. But I'm just curious for statistic analysis. Was there anyone else that hit a home run in that game, or was just Maglio twice?
Just Maglio.
Just Maglio. Okay. Limited the damage. There you go.
That's what I do.
Yep.
That's what I do.
Low damage. Only one guy in the lineup got to you. That's good. But shout out to
Sugoi!
he tied or passed Matsui?
Tied. He has tied Matsui. Home run number 175. Home run number 175 for Ohtani.
I don't care. I'm sure it means something to him, but it's like it's such a low. Like, it's kind of like when it's like if a manager from like Dublin, Ireland, was in the big leagues, and it's like, oh, the most wins ever for a manager from Dublin, and it's like 38 wins. It's like, who fucking cares? Like, let me know when you get to 500 wins as a manager. Like, that's cool.
This is still a big deal because
to him, I'm sure it means a lot to him. But like, it's 175 home runs.
So I was gonna say, yeah, it's probably a big deal to him, but nowhere near the deal to him that it probably is for other people or for other kids. Think about kids in Japan, right? Now that high water mark, now it's Ohtani. Used to be Matsui. It's no longer. It's Ohtani. That's a big deal. Like, you're etching your name in the history books internationally. Like, he's already at the top of several lists here in terms of historical achievements.
Yeah.
Now you take that across the pond, and it's a completely different animal, dude. It's a complete, like, I've told you guys this several times. When I went over to Japan in 2008 and I saw what's going on over there with their superstars, like, you got fucking Hideki Matsui and Ichiro on every corner of every major intersection, selling everything from fucking baby formula to toilet paper to high-end luxury silverware to fucking clothing. Like, it doesn't matter. Those dudes.
What does high-end luxury silverware look like?
I don't know. Silver? I mean, like, it's a different world when you are at the top of the industry over there and here. So, it means a shit ton. It means, but to Matsui, like, it's just okay, cool. What's for lunch? Or to Ohtani, I mean, it's like, no big deal.
Yeah, it's like when Joey Votto got inducted into like the Italian Hall of Fame. He was like, cool, I want to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Well, the cool part is that he did it in 58% of the games.
Yeah, half the time.
Like,
that's
I know that
context.
Hideki Matsui like missed a good chunk of his prime, so to speak, playing in another league, but to do it against or to eclipse or tie a guy with his stature and do it in a way where like you're just resetting the standard sort of thing is kind of cool. I also like thinking about Hideki Matsui because I think he might be my least disliked Yankee of the last 20 or 25 years.
I don't know. Like, there's
how can you not like?
I know.
All he was
There's zero
clutch.
reason to hate him. Zero reason to hate him, Jayhay. Zero reason to hate him.
I hate him.
You don't know him.
Yeah, I do.
That's your fault.
I
That's
hate
a
him.
you thing. You hating Matsui is way more of a you thing than it's a Matsui thing.
Well, I mean, he contributed to. You know what? The Red Sox losing Game 7 in 2003 was probably the best thing that could happen in my life.
Yeah, you wouldn't have.
We wouldn't be doing this if they'd won Game 7.
That's honestly true.
There probably is a butterfly effect thing going on with that. Yeah.
Like Matsui being a fucking dickhead in Game 7 of 2003 had a butterfly effect that led to us being here today.
So thank you, Hideki Matsui.
Hashtag thank you, Hideki.
A former teammate of mine allowed us to be teammates.
Loves pornography, by the way. Huge. Loves it. Tens of thousands of. Why are you laughing?
What are we talking about?
You didn't know this, Jayhay?
Jay didn't know this?
Oh my God, dude.
Google Hideki Matsui pornography. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Hideki Matsui has a legendary porn collection. It's 55,000. He owned 55,000 porn videos on film. Yeah.
Boxes.
Okay.
Boxes,
Jayhay. But like there'd be a new moving box on his chair when we'd come home from the road.
It's a little weird.
Former MLB player Hideki Matsui had 55,000 videos of a strong porn collection and tried to give the press porn at his first pro press conference.
That is could you?
Yeah.
What? So let's just fast forward. Let's say Jack Leiter after the game today is like, hey, I wanted to thank you guys all for coming out and attending the game.
Yeah.
Just to show my appreciation.
Word of Matsui's affinity for porn first surfaced in a 2003 Time magazine profile. Quote, and of course, he likes to watch his much vaunted porno collection, tapes that he often trades with Japanese reporters. As one Japanese journalist put it, describing Matsui's affinity for such unique Japanese cultural institutions like the no panties shabu shabu in Japan, quote, Matsui is a horny guy. All of us are horny, more or less, but Matsui doesn't attempt to hide the fact.
A pantyless shabu shabu?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's the owner of 55,000 adult vids. Matsui ran out of gifts for writers at his first American press event. Sorry, he said, I'll get porn for the rest of you. Yeah, he was blatantly open about this, Jayhay.
The shabu shabu.
Okay, then. Well, I didn't know anything about this.
The shabu shabu is throwing me here. Like, are you sure you're reading that correctly? Do you know what shabu shabu is?
No.
It's a dining style. It's like a way to eat. You boil the meat, you boil the vegetables, you cook it all together. You cook it all together in a broth. That's why when you dropped a pantyless shabu shabu, when I start thinking about meat getting boiled, I'm thinking a little differently when you're talking pantyless shabu shabu.
Yeah. Jake, did you know this about Matsui?
I didn't. It's shocking, honestly, to find out right now.
Yeah. 55,000 tapes he has in his collection.
There is a team in the league who does a very good job of presenting options, viewing options, reading material, I'll say.
Sure.
In the bathroom. And we had a guy who, a great dude, Mike Sweeney. And Sweeney walks
Former Royals captain Mike Sweeney?
That's it. Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Sweeney walks into the bathroom, and like when you go into this ballpark and you go into this clubhouse, it's just known. Like you can ask, I promise you right now, you could text while we're talking a player, hey, which team has the porn collection? Which team has and you're going to get the answer. And so
in the visiting clubhouse?
In the visiting clubhouse. And
why would you want to give the opponents an edge like that?
So that, well, is it an edge or is it taking off an edge?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
so is it so Sweeney just walks in and you can hear him go, oh, the fish are biting today. The fish are biting. Matsui, I'd look out here if I were you. And because it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. And it's just great because like Sweeney's such a wholesome dude, and just to hear him, like he walks in there, just his voice, and then Matsui just fucking like popping up and looking around. Like it was great, dude.
Was he there for 1 year with the A's?
Yeah, 1 year. They weren't even teammates. We weren't even teammates. Like we were on the same team together. But that's just how legendary or how known the Matsui thing is, like with Sweeney. Like it everywhere. Everybody knows.
That's awful. He went 1 year with the A's, 141 games, His OPS the last 2 years, 876, 820, and then 696 in his 1 year with the A's. I don't remember him with the Rays either. He played in 2012, 34 games with the A's, had a 434 OPS, and then called it a career. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go jerk off.
Yeah, when was he with us? That was 08?
11.
No,
11.
Oh, yeah, shit, it was. It was 11. Wow.
Yeah. 08, he was still with the Yankees because he won the World Series. He was the World Series MVP, right? In 09?
Yeah, 09. And then because 09, yeah, 09, the fucker hit a fucking, was that 09? That was 2010. Oh, yeah, 2010. My start right after a perfect game, I was doing well. And then he fucking clipped me for a fucking 3-run bomb and we lost the game.
Of course, we couldn't get out of this without hearing about the fucking perfect game.
That's true.
Well, it's just because I threw a complete game after that, Jayhay. You know,
Back-to-back complete games?
Something not a lot of folks had done. And Matsui fucking ruined it. Yeah. And I made sure he knew about that the next year.
You threw back-to-back complete games?
Yep.
Well, the second one wasn't a complete game shutout.
No, I finished my part of it. It wasn't a shutout by no means. No, I completed every inning we were allowed. We were allowed to pitch, and since I had given up enough runs, I didn't have to go back out there.
Yeah, because Tanner Houck threw a complete game shutout last night.
He threw. Put some fucking respect on it. Do you want to recategorize that?
Yeah, he threw a Greg Maddux last night.
It was a fucking deal.
Complete game shutout, fewer than 100 pitches in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, hour and 49 minutes?
Hour 49.
94 pitches, 69 strikes. Nice job filling it up, Tanner.
Did you guys see that was the fastest game in Major League Baseball since Armando Galarraga's perfecto, not perfecto, 14 years ago?
I have a question. If we can go back and change errors to hits and hits to errors, why can't we go back and change Galarraga's perfect game?
Because there's technically nothing to that's the problem, is that there is no scoring error to change, right? It's just an oversight
call.
Like, I mean, I guess the commissioner could do whatever the hell he wanted anyway, but like that's the distinction for me, I think, between because it wasn't an error, a hit that was ruled an error. It wasn't an error that was ruled a hit. It was a guy blew a call at first base on a safe call. So,
the umpire admitted that he got it wrong. So can't the commissioner then take that and be like, "Oh, we're reversing the call because the umpire himself said he got it wrong"?
I've thought about this. I think the only thing that happens, or I think one of the biggest reasons, is because there's things that happen afterwards. And now, what do you do with those things? What do you do with those events? Do you just delete those? You erase those? Well, there had to be another hitter, right? Because that guy's safe.
Yeah, that wasn't.
That's not the end of it.
That's
so now, what do we do with the statistics that occur after the fact? We just gone.
Well, what was it? A ground out?
Yeah, it would have been a ground out.
Yeah.
Yep, 3-1.
You just go back. I'm sure. I mean, those were outs for those guys. So I think there was only like 1 or 2 batters after that. So I'm sure that they would love to be like, yeah, take away my ground out.
I'll never forget the image of the runner. Fuck, I forget who it was. Just running down the line, and as soon as he hits the bag and looks over and see Jim Joyce safe, he just fucking head in his hands, like, oh, like everybody knew.
Tough day.
Fucking
tough day at work. But yeah, Tanner Houck fucking shoved last night. Did you get to watch it, Jayhay?
I did. It was a great viewing experience. I mean, you blink and it's over. No, that was awesome. I mean, again, talk about the total difficulty in predicting pitchers at the MLB level in 2024. Like, we all had vast concerns about the Red Sox rotation entering the season. I think even the most optimistic people. And here we are, 4 starts in for Houck, and he's got a 1.35, and he just threw up what was it, the first shutout by a Red Sox starter at home since Brian Johnson 7 years ago.
That was 2017. Yeah.
Dear Lord.
Yeah. So 7 years it's been since a Red Sox starter threw a complete game shutout at
We
Fenway.
partied that night. We went to the baseball tavern after that game. Shout out Brian Johnson. Great fucking human being. He's like coaching I think like a travel ball team in Cocoa Beach, Florida now. But yeah, those were the days, man. Back when players were players, you know.
Shit, you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just some numbers on the Houck outing.
Go ahead.
72% first pitch strike rate, 21 out of 29. Filling it up early and often. He did not have, well, I guess it's a few. 19 swing and misses. Pretty good. Slider was wipeout for him. 6 punch outs on the slider. You got 23 swings total, 11 swing and misses on that slider. 86% strike rate on that pitch for him. He threw 37 of them, 32 of them went for strikes. It's getting it done. That's getting it done.
You know, it's dancing when like the catcher sets up here and he's got to catch like a change up like this. That's what he was doing.
You just look at, like, when I see that, what that should tell you is complete command of the pitch, complete and total command of the pitch, not in control of the pitch. He's not just throwing this over the plate for strikes and hoping that it works out. He's throwing it for strikes. He's taking you kind of like Mason Miller took Simeon for a walk the other day. He's just a little farther out, little farther out, little far. He's commanding the pitch. He's pitching with that pitch. And when guys are able to land that with regularity, really at will, and they have the other weapons that they do, his fucking sinker, because it's not 98, it's 92, 95, right? But when you talk about creating the intersections like I talk about all the time, and you're able to land that fucking slider the way he was, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a quick night for you. It's going to be a long night for them boys on the other side.
A couple quick nugs if we got time on Houck.
Please.
And the Red Sox in general. It is the first, you brought up the Maddox end of the complete game shutout. He is the first Red Sox pitcher to do that since Clay Buchholz in 2014. August 31st, 2014 against the Rays was the last person to do that. And then I looked for some context this morning on the starts for Cutter Crawford and Houck together. And the last time that the Red Sox had multiple starters with ERAs below 1.5 through their first 4 starts was a very special season. 2018. Chris Sale and Rick Porcello. If you're looking for reasons why the Red Sox might win the World Series this year, that nugget would be the one.
What were they both? They're both in the top 10 in ERA in baseball, right?
Yeah, they have
Houck and Crawford.
Crawford's one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like a 0.42 or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Houck is, I think, like 1 and change, 126. Because I think he gave up 4 runs. He gave up 7 runs the last time out, but it was only 4. I'm not gonna hit the fucking breaking news sounder, but I just saw this tweet, pissed me off. Red Sox Rafael Devers didn't feel great yesterday as the DH and will undergo an MRI on his knee to make sure nothing is wrong structurally. Jake,
well, that's tough. That's unfortunate.
No, yeah, I don't want to hear from you. Jake, how you feeling?
Yeah, that sucks to hear. I mean, it's pretty annoying because I feel like it's been going back and forth the last 3 days. Like,
yeah,
he was fine, now he's not. But
it's been happening since like the fucking first series of the season. It's the shoulder, it's the knee. Well, that's talking socks.
So what would they do? Where would they?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What do you mean, what would they do?
I was just asking, like, what?
Bobby Dahlbeck.
I mean, I know that's your answer. Is that their answer? Is that the answer?
Yeah, it's the answer, yes. I think he's 0 for his last 36, but all that says to me is that he's due.
Fuck yeah, I'm a huge percentages guy too, Jared. And
you gotta play the
odds are it's gonna happen.
He's gonna get a hit.
Fuck yeah.
And when he does, no one's gonna be louder than me.
Nobody's ever gotten a full season's worth of at bats and not gotten a hit. We can say that.
Never happened.
Nope.
And, after this news, maybe Bob, he gets it. We're going to turn this thing around. That's accountability. Speaking of accountability, Pete Fairbanks.
Oh.
What's it? Just a matter of command, location, selection, anything specific?
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
Pete, where do you kind of go from here? Is it looking at tape? Is it going through mechanics? Where do you kind of go from here?
You tell me. I've tried that. If you got an answer, I'd love to hear. Just, not going to let it beat me up for, I'll maybe give it till 10. It's 9:44 right now. We'll give it 16 minutes of sulk, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
He's the best.
He's the
best. I love Pete Fairbanks.
I'm going to give it about,
16 minutes?
16
till 10
minutes? And,
yeah. You can tell he wants to destroy the entire clubhouse with a bat, but he's like trying to keep his composure. He's fucking awesome.
Could it makes you feel like he could easily just grab a reporter like by the base of their neck and just under the chin and rip the fucking head right off. That's what he wants to do. Like, no disrespect to any reporter, whoever you are with a microphone and camera in his face at that moment, that's what he wants to do. And it comes out so beautifully. So beautifully. It's such a measured assessment of how things have gone for him right in the moment, but there's no mincing. It sucked. It's just a bad level of suck too, like from start to finish, all encompassing level of suck.
It's not a specific suck.
No.
He has pitched 7 innings this year. He's allowed 7 earned runs. He's had, out of his 8 appearances, I think half of them were scoreless, but he gave up 3 earned to the Rockies back on April 5th. Gave 1 up to the Rangers last night. Gave up 2 to the Halos. 3 hits, 2 earned. And he walked a couple guys. So the walks have been a lot of the problem here. He's walked 8, struck out 10.
Well, I mean, you can just look at his whip, right? I mean, the whip starts with a 2.
Yeah, it's not good. Traffic
starts with a 2, and and he knows. And that's the beautiful thing about this dude is nothing that we are saying right now isn't something that he hasn't thought about himself, isn't something that he hasn't put into perspective for himself, and that's why he's telling you it's a all-encompassing type of suck. Like, it's like nothing about it is good. Am I giving up hits? Yes, I am. Am I walking guys? I have. Am I not getting the big out when I need to? No, I'm not. Am I cashing guys in? I am. Like, everything that I should be doing, I'm not doing. And as a reliever, those numbers jump out at you. And it's one of the worst things going when you have a rough start to your season. And we talk about this all the time. You could have a shitty April, and that shitty April is going to be reflected on the scoreboard until about June, until you can start to tighten it up. And even then, the numbers might not be super attractive until you can go on a nice run, 12, 14 plus outings where you haven't given up anything. And he would really, really benefit from one of those right now.
Jay, any thoughts?
Not really.
Okay. I saw this article before we started. It's on ESPN. It says why Mike Trout wants to win only with the Angels.
That's who he plays for?
That is who he plays for. I think Torrey Hunter was quoted in this, basically saying, this is what it would mean something. He wants to stay. Torrey Hunter, quote, for the people that say he should get traded, it's not their decision. It's Trout's decision. For people to say that he doesn't want to win a championship, that's 100% false. This guy's always had fire and a desire to win. I don't know how that can be true.
Look, and I know, Jayhay, you don't want to get into the legacy talk, and I frankly don't either, because we are going to continue to have these conversations about Mike Trout. There's only so many different ways you can say this. Mike Trout does not care to be your face of Major League Baseball. Can we come to terms with that?
Sure.
Great. Move on from that. Let's put that to bed. Mike Trout also doesn't give a shit on whether or not you believe him and his desire to win in Anaheim. And he doesn't care if you don't understand some of the romance that goes into that decision, some of the bravado that might come along with, yeah, I won a championship here. I didn't leave. Even when times got tough and people thought I should, I didn't do that. And as fans who are looking at it from the outside in saying that day's never going to come, well, Mike Trout doesn't care that you feel that way, because should that day come, and when it does, he's going to feel that much better about it. He's just not concerned. He is not concerned with any of the outside narratives.
That's fine. He's just not going to win.
But see, those are two very different conversations, right?
No, because it is. I understand the romance behind winning with the team that you came up with and that you want to be with your whole
one
career.
franchise type of guy. He's a one franchise type of guy. That's what he wants. And he's had to make the decision. It's going to play out exactly
the same way that Joey Votto's did, which is that he never ever sniffs anything close to a championship or real winning. The Reds had like that brief window in Joey Votto's prime where they were relevant, and every other year they weren't. And that's fine. That is a way to play out a career. And I'm not disrespecting anybody, but he's not going to win a championship with the Angels. They are nowhere fucking close to being close to even a playoff caliber team. Like, yeah, could they bounce into the playoffs over the next half decade because of the way Major League Baseball has structured their playoffs? Yes. But as currently constructed and with the way their minor league system looks, it is a hopeless scenario. Forget, we were talking Mets the other day. That is rosy as hell compared to what the Angels have going on over the next half decade.
Think about this too. Think about this. The one piece that could potentially pull the Angels out of minor league obscurity and their franchise obscurity is who?
Trading
Mike Trout.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so if you're going to get better,
it's not even that though, because we've covered that his trade is never going to bring the return at this point that they need.
No,
the inflection point, the you cannot come back from this decision point was the decision to not trade Shohei Ohtani. And in fact, the decision to then trade assets to go out and get Lucas Giolito for a push that was never going to happen in the first place. That's where Mike Trout's fate, as it relates to will this ever be a contender, was solidified, because they could have replenished the farm system. And then we could have been having a conversation right now about, well, if these prospects develop and this breaks right, then yeah, you know what? Maybe the Angels could be looking at an 88 to 92 win team coming up here in 3 to 4 years. Instead, they went in the exact opposite direction. They're even further away than they would have been. And, this isn't even a legacy talk. This is just a practical conversation about he's not going to be able to win in with the Angels.
Right. And that's why, I think they are, as much as those conversations get instantaneously blended, they are two conversations. They're two separate conversations. Why Mike Trout is choosing to stay here and why he wants to win here is very different from whether or not that's going to happen. And that's my point in all of this is we can talk about those two things till the end of time, but they have to be two separate conversations, and we have to acknowledge that, because we all agree that where it sits right now, Mike Trout was born an Angel. Mike Trout will die an Angel. And at no point in time is a world championship going to be a part of that equation. So when they talk about the date on your headstone that starts it and the date that ends it and that little dash in between does not have world champion written on it.
Sad. All right. The only other thing here that I had was about José Abreu maybe being washed at this point. It's pretty bad. I don't know how much José Abreu baseball that you've watched, but this season, He is down to hitting .078 with a 256 OPS in 57 plate appearances. 17 strikeouts. And he has walked how many times?
Oh my God.
3 times.
Oh my God.
What?
A negative OPS plus?
Yeah, that's almost impossible.
He's
Wow.
toast. He's toast. I mean, honestly, like he was really bad last year. And I think the Houston José Abreu signing can be
Put to
placed
bed.
in the failure category. And he had a great run with the White Sox, and he's also a 37-year-old man. So that he has fallen off a cliff here at this age, I don't think should be terribly surprising, given that some of his indicators were suggesting that the cliff was coming even in 2022, where he batted .304 with an .824 OPS because of how much power he had lost. So, yeah, I mean, listen, José Abreu came over here with a lot of hype, and I think in almost every way possible, he delivered on that hype.
Lived up to it. Yeah, won a fucking MVP.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year, MVP. Come on.
And even if you want to like asterisk that MVP because it was over, in the 2020 campaign and over 60 games or whatever, like he had years before and after that were awesome too. So,
he was in the MVP conversation.
They need a new answer at first base, and the Astros are in big fucking trouble, obviously, given that they're 6 and what is it?
They
6
are
and 14.
last in the AL West. Tough place to be.
Verlander's coming back Friday, though, right?
Soon, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that what I saw? Justin
Mhm.
Verlander.
Mhm.
Yeah. He's making a season debut tomorrow. There you go. Saving the season. Woo. JV to the rescue.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually, I get it. When you're a baseball fan, you complain about something. Inevitably, there will be another fan base that will chime in and be like, you don't have it as bad as us. So we've got Lucas Giolito out for the year. Nick Pivetta on the injured list. Garrett Whitlock just hit the injured list. And I'm like, yeah, fucking 60% of the rotation's on the injured list. And then you got Astros fans chiming in.
The Astros have
like,
the whole rotation.
Yeah, how about our entire rotation on the injured list? And it's like, okay, fair.
Get it.
It's fair. It's fair. I'm not going to push back on that. All right. Any series that stand out to you guys this weekend?
Not particularly.
Red Sox Pirates, Dallas.
I saw that. I saw that. What do we got? We've got the Leiter. We got the Leiter debut.
That's today.
Yeah, I was looking at today's a short slate. We only got 5 ball games, right? Not much going on.
Yeah.
But what are the series that we have?
Padres, Blue Jays, Mets, Dodgers. Actually, you know what? How about Orioles and Royals?
Orioles and Royals is going to be a great matchup of youth. That's going to be an exciting match. I gotta be honest. The Swingin' A's are on a bit of a daunting road trip right now. We've got the guards.
If they can get through this, though.
What's that?
I said if they can get through this, though.
We got the guards, we got the Yankees, and then we got the Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
So
hang with them.
A little bit of an uphill battle.
You know what's interesting is we're not that far removed from if you wanted to insert shitty team X as part of your argument, you would go Orioles or Royals. And now it's like, that's the series that I'm kind of looking forward to this weekend is Orioles Royals.
Absolutely. And another one, I know it might not come with a huge billing, but Detroit, Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota's struggling. They're not doing well right now, but Detroit, they've been playing well, 10-8 on the season. And we talk about the young group in Detroit trying to establish themselves. Minnesota, favorites to win the division.
Yankees, Rays, maybe. A bit of that.
What about Diamondbacks, Giants?
I was going to say that, but yeah.
Not doing anything for you?
Yeah, they're both under 500 right now.
What about the Jays and Pods?
I said that.
Oh.
I don't know. My pick is Orioles Royals. That's a series to watch this weekend. If you're looking for some good ball. So we'll see.
Jomo's making his start too, right? Did we say that?
Yes, Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't know if we said that.
I did not know that.
I think he's starting Friday. Yep. Against
Good for
Blake
him.
Snell. As of right now, it could be the battle of the holdouts.
On Friday, isn't that against Sale? No, wait, no.
No, Snell.
No.
Snell.
So
Yes.
Okay, how many combined innings do we get out of Montgomery and Snell? 10?
No.
10?
7. 7.
Yeah. Blake Snell hasn't even given us 10 and 2 starts on his own.
Yeah. Give me 7 1/3 combined.
10. Oh, it is such a. I don't know how to look at this anymore, and I hate that. The only reason I even say this is because I've had multiple people bring this up to me over the past week or so because they've been looking at whatever, like starting pitching shit they've said. But the idea that Blake Snell has 2 Cy Young awards under his belt and has not completed a Major League Baseball game.
Yeah. Even Dallas Braden did that.
Well, that's what the guy said. He was like, I got a question for you. And I don't mean this in a backhanded way, but it's going to sound like a backhanded compliment. And I was like, okay. He goes, how does a guy like Blake Snell win 2 Cy Young awards and be notorious for the 5 and dive? And how does, somebody like you lead the league in complete games one year? How does that happen? And I was like, well, I don't throw 100. So I'm not punching out the people that Blake Snell's punching out. So he probably doesn't have as many pitches to hang around with after his body of work. But it is just alarming, I think, to think about that you can be, because the dude is fucking dominant. And some of the runs that he's gone on, like just absolutely baffling people for months at a time. So when you look at the whole body of work, you're like, well, what do you mean? How does this guy win 2 Cy Youngs? How the fuck does he not win 2 Cy Youngs? Look at these numbers. But it's just crazy to think that's not a thing, not a factor at all. Kind of like the whole win-loss record when that went away, Like nobody cares that you won 13 games. You're fucking Felix and your shit's nasty.
Yeah. You know what? We used to do this back in the starting 9 days. We had a guest on. If you could go back to if you could jump into a hot tub time machine, go back in time to any moment in baseball history, what would it be? I think I would pick your perfect game, Dallas.
Oh, it's so nice of you.
I think I would. I mean,
so you could do what?
I mean, I only know you as fucking Muppet Dallas. I don't know you as A's Dallas. I want to see A's Dallas. Like it, like there's guys now where like Jason Varitek, for example. Like I got to see player Jason Varitek, but now I know like dad Jason Varitek and coach Jason Varitek. Like it's cool to see the 2 eras of life. I only know post playing career Dallas. And for as close as we are, it feels like a piece of our bond is missing. Like I wish I could go back.
Different dude.
Yeah.
Different dude.
For sure.
Very, 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 very different dude. Yeah. Same guy off the field. Totally like same dude. Just the shit that I was doing, the shit like my mind space was just very, very different. Very different.
Well, what would you pick, Jayhay? Have we ever asked you that question before?
Maybe I'd go back to 97 and maybe, run out onto the field and tackle Jose Mesa. Do a little stint in the clink to bring a maybe bring a World Series to Cleveland. Yeah. That's
could be
thinking outside the box. Yeah. Interject myself into history. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like, obviously I would love to be at, if as a Red Sox fan, I was at the Roberts stolen base game 4 of the ALCS in 2004. But I think it's like, all right, having been there for that, I'm not going to pick that. But I don't know that Game 4 of the World Series against St. Louis in St. Louis would be the pick. I think you would want to be at Game 7 of the ALCS in the Bronx. Granted, if you pick that game, you're putting your life at risk. Like that was a very hostile environment where if you're a Red Sox fan going there, you could get yourself killed. But as far as bang for your buck, like the clinching game was 3-0. Like there was nothing doing. You're just kind of waiting for the Red Sox to just finish the job. But beating the Yankees' ass in Game 7, like that would be a tough call. I would either pick Game 7 of the ALCS in 2004 or Dallas's perfect game.
I think you got it just between the Game 7 and World Series clincher. I think being at the Game 7 and then being with your family or friends for the actual World Series, like, oh, we are the World Series winners now. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
When we actually build the time machine and whatnot.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. With this time machine, apparently only has
a lot of cool stuff planned in the underdog era.
Yeah, can I nominate a short stop?
Machine.
A short stop on our journey to these destinations in time. To where was that? That was we were in LA for 18, right?
We were in LA for 18.
Yeah. Jared gently weeping, surrounded by other Red Sox fans.
Mm-hmm.
This is a special moment.
I've seen the Red Sox win the World Series in person twice now.
That was cool. It was cool because we had insulated ourselves in a small little section, but then also had started to expand that section as the game went on, as the writing started to become a little clearer throughout the end of the ball game, and then everybody sort of coming together at the end of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Jake,
nice.
Were you there? You were there in LA, right?
I was there.
Yeah, Jake was there.
So we were all there in the building together.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for showing up, Jake.
Yeah.
Yep, no problem.
No problem. Was that the only game that you went to in LA, or did you go to the 18 inning game too?
No, I went to games 4 and 5.
Yeah. Miserable.
We just stayed the night after the 18 inning game.
Yeah, that was miserable.
Slept
Dodger Dogs. I'll double down on it. Dodger Dogs fucking suck, dude.
So it's the worst. It is easily the worst bit of ballpark food that is supposed to be like you're
it's
supposed
the worst signature ballpark food.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, Dodger Dogs fucking trash, especially when it's all you have to eat for like days.
I remember doing like a sit down interview with the head chef at Dodger Stadium, and it was over Dodger Dogs.
Nah.
They brought out this fucking tray and I was like, "What, you want me to fucking ask this dude about how he wraps these? About what? Like, you want me to ask him if I can taste his fucking hot dog water? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
Like, what the fuck are we doing here? No. Okay, great. Hey, how's it going, Earl? Tell me about your fucking Dodger dog, pal."
If you could go back in time, Dallas, would you watch yourself in the seats throw your perfect game?
No. The only reason I would is if I knew what had happened to me the night before.
What do you mean?
If I knew what I was pitching, if I knew that dude was out there under those circumstances, well, then maybe I might have a little more rooting interest.
Yeah,
but
you're going back as yourself right now to watch yourself back then.
Then yes, because I knew what kind of mind state I was in. I knew what I was battling. I knew, so that would be interesting to me. But otherwise, no. If I don't know any of that, watch some fucking slap dick fourth starter make a fucking start on a Sunday in front of 3,500 people. All good, But you have the information that you're going back to watch a perfect game. Well, then, I told you, I'm fucking all in. Absolutely.
What do you think? You just lose your memory?
Back to watch a perfect game. That to me takes a little bit of the juice out of it. Like the cool part about a perfect game or a no is the build.
Because you don't know.
The uncertainty that it could or could not happen. If we know the results and we're going back to watch, I I might have to rethink my decision. I don't even. Well, I'd still tackle Jose Mesa because that's a decision-based choice.
Yeah.
But
Well, that could change the course of history.
Yeah. Right. Well, maybe I wouldn't be here potting with you guys if I tackled Jose Mesa. So I got to think about that again.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm with Jayhay because I know the outcome. No, but if you were like, hey man, I might want to watch this. You might want to check this out. Like this dude, this is kind of what's happened. Like I don't know how it's going to work out. It's the best team in baseball right now. Like this dude's going to get his fucking ass beat. You should tune into this. And then that happens. Then you're like, whoa, I did not see that coming. Did not see that coming. You're like, yeah. That's why I've always said baseball, toughest sport to bet on. Why?
It is.
Because all it takes is some asshole like me to show up to the ballpark and actually make the start, and something like that can happen.
It's true.
Everything that was not supposed to happen.
Jake, what would you pick?
I think I would just want to go back and experience 2004, like with the perspective I have now, or just understand really the whole scope of it, because I was only 7, so it was cool, but I didn't really understand like what was going on.
It was fucking awesome.
That's cool. You're not like Milliken though, where you're trying to tell me 07's the best though, right?
Yeah.
No, that's insane.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Yeah, 04 was great.
Yeah. I don't know how. Yeah. 04 will live forever.
Yeah. That's the only like year where like you say the year and all you can think about is the Red Sox. Like nothing else that happened in that year matters. You just say 2004 and like that is like you're basically saying Red Sox.
Yeah, you say 2004 and I instantly have the shot of Dave Roberts leading off first base.
Yeah.
That is the shot in my mind when you say 04.
Mm-hmm. I was there. Good times. All right, you guys enjoy your weekend of baseball. We will be back here with Joseph on Monday. This week kind of flew by. I was like double checking to make sure that this was actually Thursday in our last episode of the week. But we will be back on Monday. Enjoy the baseball, and we will see you then.
Wow.